everything that lives is designed to end. We are perpetually trapped in a never-ending spiral of life and death. Is this a curse? Or some kind of punishment? I often think about the god who blessed us with this cryptic puzzle, and wonder if we'll ever have the chance to kill him.
Alert. Heavy damage and conflict has initiating short-range control. Activating short-range attack gear.
In the year 5012 AD, alien invaders came to Earth with the goal of conquering it, using machine life forms at the forefront of their war. Almost 7,000 years later, the war continued, with the machines holding a clear advantage. All humanity could do in retaliation was send in robotic life forms of their own. Built after their own image, the androids were all they could use to fight back. During this war, a new android organization called YoRHa was formed as the ultimate means of fighting the machines back, and in this organization, one stood out amongst the rest. YoRHa Unit Number 2, Type Battle, promptly named 2B. A fierce and stoic warrior in YoRHa's troops, literally designed to destroy machines and all who would stand in the way of her mission. In her life, she has known nothing but battle. But could there perhaps be more to this BattleBot than meets the eye? Well, I'm sure it's not that important. What is important, though, is why you're here today. How exactly would 2B fare if her mission ever sent her to the world of Super Smash Bros? How's about we find out? So getting right into things, I see 2B as a pretty heavy character. And no, not for the reason I'm sure a lot of you are thinking. Get your mind out of the gutter. Her eyes are up here, she has eyes under there, I promise. Anyway, she'd have 2 jumps and she would be able to wall jump. 2B being a combat battle robot with gameplay made by none other than Platinum Games themselves, this platinum-haired fembot has a wide variety of skills and techniques to bring to the battlefield, all dealt out at the end of her trusty katana, Virtuous Contract. That said, this won't be a very straightforward moveset. Pulling from her platinum roots, she has a plentiful amount of attacks and combos to pull from, even some that can only be used if you successfully pull off certain combos and animation cancels. I'll explain more about it as I get to the relevant attack. So, to start off with 2B's jab, she could use the first 3 attacks of her light short sword ground combo. Starting with a diagonal swing forward, then spins to swing her sword diagonally forward the other direction, then ends the attack by throwing Contract forward, causing it to spin in front of her like a buzzsaw. The spinning sword actually deals multiple hits of damage before launching the target, so calling this a 3-hit jab is a tad misleading. What is a bit more straightforward is her dash attack. She could use her light short sword hold attack, or at least the first part of it, where she propels forwards with a breakdance spin, swinging Contract all around as she does so. This dash attack does bring 2B lower to the ground, making it a decent maneuverability tool against higher attacks. 2B's side tilt can have her use what is traditionally the 4th hit of her light short sword combo, where she once again throws her sword forward like a buzzsaw. It works much like the 3rd hit of her jab, dealing multi-hitting damage before it launches foes away. But there is more to the side tilt than just that. It actually has a second part to it, but only if you cancel the 3rd hit of the jab into the side tilt. Canceling the jab, then using the side tilt twice allows 2B to use both her 4th and 5th attack in the combo. The 5th attack is another thrown buzzsaw sword attack, functioning just like the first 2 buzzsaws, just allowing you to add in a lot more damage. And this can be extended even more thanks to her up tilt. Using it by itself has 2B do a backflip attack, swinging her sword all around from front to back to knock opponents into the air, which is the 6th attack in her light short sword combo. But if you cancel the second hit of the side tilt into this move, then the backflip will knock opponents forward instead, and you'll be able to use the second hit of the up tilt, having 2B chuck Contract forward into the ground, the 7th and final attack in her light short sword combo. It's by far the deadliest attack in this combo, dealing the most damage, and it launches foes horizontally. So using her jab, side tilt, and up tilt attacks in proper succession allows 2B to pull off the full combo. To recap for those who still might be confused, use the full 3-hit jab, then before the animation of the 3rd jab ends, use the side tilt twice. Then before the animation of the 2nd side tilt ends, use the up tilt twice. That's how 2B is able to use her full light short sword combo attack, giving her opportunities to rack up a lot of damage onto opponents who get caught in it. Then for 2B's down tilt, this has her simply do a horizontal sword swing forward while crouching. This comes from the second part of the aforementioned light short sword hold attack, and as such, this is actually another comboable move. You'll be able to use the down tilt to cancel the dash attack, letting 2B stop her breakdance attack early to use her down tilt, recreating the proper hold attack as well as giving 2B a proper fake out option to those trying to punish her dash attack. That's probably a lot for some of you to take in, so what say we give Virtuous Contract a small break and move on to 2B's smash attacks? By now, you've probably noticed this little guy floating around next to 2B. This is Pod 042, a standard issue support unit that all modern Yorha soldiers have at their side. Their functions involve giving their assigned unit suggestions or advice about missions and matters at hand, as well as supplying ranged support in combat. They can also be equipped with various programs that add to the soldiers' already wide variety of combat capabilities. These pod programs will be what 2B uses for her smash attacks, starting with her side smash. Pod can use Program R030 Hammer. This program has Pod conjure a large energy hammer, then smash it on the ground in the direction 2B aims it into. A simple but quite effective disjointed attack, with its big obvious con being that it's slow. The up smash can make use of Program R020 Mirage. Activating this has Pod analyze the area around itself and 2B, leading to 2B slashing around that area at blinding speed. While charging this move, Pod creates a holographic dome that slowly expands outward the longer you charge the smash, leading to 2B starting her assault as soon as the attack is released, dealing multi-hitting damage to all foes caught in her attack and launching them into the air when it ends. So as you can guess, the longer you let the dome expand, the more area 2B will cover during her speedy slices. Then for the down smash, Pod could use Program R050 Spear. This has Pod conjure energy spears that shoot up from the ground on both sides of 2B. Unlike in Automata, it only creates 6 spears, 3 on each of 2B's sides, going further out with each spear. This is a very fast smash attack, but it's also kind of on the weak side comparatively. The spears always launch foes into the air, and they only deal damage at the moment of their creation, so foes who touch them after that but before they disappear won't take any damage. So this program's greatest asset is its disjoint, allowing it to help 2B get some breathing room if need be. Not that she needs to breathe, but actually, do they breathe? This messed up ending kind of makes me think that they do, but they're androids. Whatever. Moving from ground combat to aerial combat, Pod isn't done just yet, cause for 2B's neutral air, she could use her Pod Kick attack, where she grabs onto Pod and it spins around while she holds her legs out to kick anyone to her immediate left or right. To kind of reference the Pod's gliding function, which really will not be a thing in this moveset, Using the pod kick in the air will halt a bit of 2B's falling momentum, but only the first time it's used. After that, using it will still have it fall normally until she touches the stage and re-enters the air. The forward air can be 2B's light short sword air combo attack, allowing 2B to use multiple sword attacks forward each time you press the attack button after activation. In Automata, this is a 5-hit attack, but for this Smash moveset, I'm pulling it down to 3. The first swing is a diagonal slash, the second swing is another diagonal slash, but in the other direction, and the final is another buzzsaw sword toss. The first 2 swings only cause hit stun, with the buzzsaw toss, just like before, dealing multi-hitting damage before it launches hit foes away. You can use the whole combo if you'd like, but you can also stop part way to use some other attacks to build on whole different combos as well. The back air has 2B do a side flip while swinging contract from high to low behind herself. This is an innovated version of the first attack of her heavy short sword combo. As such, it's a tad slow to come out compared to most back airs, but being inspired by the heavy attack means it hits pretty hard. The up air can be another move that comes from the heavy short sword moveset, having 2B use her short sword rising attack. Though in this case, she won't actually be rising. She just does a simple sword uppercut. Then for her down air, actually, bookmark this one for now. We'll come back to it later. For 2B's grab, she'll use that weird android psychokinesis that they kind of just have. Androids mainly use this to hold their weapons, though we've also seen them use it to hold or catch other things like missiles or giant robot arms. Not too sure if this could actually be used on anything else aside from mechs, but who cares, it looks cool. You'll know when you've grabbed someone when you see a gold ring around them, and 2B, or rather Pod, will pummel by firing shots at their face. The throws could all be direct references to the special finisher moves that 2B can use on machines that she stuns or incapacitates. The same that for some reason I can only get to work at the start of the game, but then just stop happening after a while. Is that the same for anybody else, or is that just me? Anyway, the forward throw can have 2B punt the foe forward. The back throw has her warp behind her target, reappearing with a drop kick in their back to launch them backward. The up throw has her slide under the foe, propelling them high into the air. This is only one part of the animation that this references. She usually follows it up with a punch, but she won't do that here. Instead, to reference that, this will be her weakest throw in terms of damage and launch potential, being better for combo setups more than anything else. Then for the down throw, she'll jump over her target, then drop down on them hands first, dealing damage and bouncing them away. Alright, if you had trouble following along up to now, then I apologize, but it's only gonna get worse from here. Her specials are all connected for the most part, with the one exception being her side special, so let me go ahead and get that one out of the way now. Using side special has Pod use its first program, R010 Laser. Pod fires a devastating laser straight forward. It has a ton of range, deals a ton of damage, launches foes on contact, and it pierces through everything. Pretty nutty, right? Well, just like most characters in Automata's story, not all good things last. It does count as a projectile, and it also has a cooldown. You are not able to spam this. Once used, you can't fire another laser for quite a bit. You'll know when you can fire another laser when you see Pod's antenna pop back out. When you see it, you can fire a laser. When you can't see it, then no laser for you. The side special isn't useless after firing the laser though. It changes into Pod's Gatling gun while you wait for the laser to charge. The Gatling gun is by far one of the most important tools in 2B's arsenal, being 2B's primary and more reliable means of ranged offense, shooting long-range energy projectiles. Tapping the button has you fire a few shots straight forward, and holding it down lets you rapid fire the literal son of a gun. It's not nearly as strong as it is in Automata though. For one thing, you can't move while using this. 2B will make herself immobile while firing the Gatling gun. On top of that, it deals no hit stun, only very weak damage that, while it can rack up over time, cannot be aimed. so good luck landing it on mobile opponents. Also, don't worry about accidentally firing the laser if you rapid fire the Gatling gun. Holding the button down just has the gun keep firing even if the laser becomes ready while you fire. So you'll only actually use the laser if you first let go of the button to stop the Gatling fire and then press it again for the laser. Now, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and dive straight into 2B's other specials, which all involve 2B's secondary weapon. Something I failed to mention before is that 2B's model isn't limited to only using one weapon. She's actually able to use two at a time and can switch them around whenever she wants. In context of Automata, her primary weapon has her use the light version of that weapon's moveset, whereas whatever's equipped in the secondary slot has her use the heavy version of that weapon. For this moveset, Virtuous Contract, her short sword, will always be her primary weapon. That'll never change. What can be changed is her secondary weapon, of which she can use one out of a pool of 3 and is able to shift around with the use of her down special. The 3 weapons I've chosen to go along with Contract are the rest of the Virtuous family. Virtuous Treaty, a longsword, Virtuous Dignity, a spear, and Virtuous Grief, combat braces, which will rotate in that specific order whenever down special is used. Normally she's only able to equip 2 weapon sets, not 3, but we're just gonna ignore that little detail if that's cool with you. I won't tell if you won't. The current weapon she has equipped will determine what attack she'll use for her neutral special, up special, as well as the previously skipped down air, which we may as well come back to now. For her down air, she'll use the heavy falling attack of the secondary weapon that she has equipped. The Treaty down air has her fall while holding the longsword forward, slamming it into the ground. This has the most horizontal disjoint of the 3 down airs, and it can spike opponents at the start of the attack. The Dignity down air has her fall with the spear pointed straight down directly below her, stabbing it into the ground. It has the most vertical disjoint, and it's the only one that will spike opponents if they get hit by the move at all. The Grief down air has her do a falling hammer punch, slamming the braces into the ground as hard as she can. This has the worst range of the bunch, but it hits the hardest. It can also spike foes at the start of the attack, and it deals extra damage to foes hit by the braces as soon as they smash into the ground. All 3 versions of the down air have their own individualities, but one commonality that they do share is that they cannot stop until 2B reaches the stage. So if you plan on using the down air off stage, then I hope that you have your memories backed up and plenty of 2B bodies left in stock. Moving on to the neutral special, this will have 2B use the heavy combos of each weapon, and you'll actually have quite a number of options here depending on how or when you press the special button. Just tapping or mashing the button has 2B use the normal heavy ground combo of her currently equipped weapon. All 3 weapons have 3 steps of this combo, meaning you'll have to press the special button at least 3 times for her to use the whole combo of each weapon. Holding the button down has 2B use the heavy charge attacks of each weapon, which effectively work like extra smash attacks. And if you press the special button at any point while using the jab, side tilt, or up tilt, she'll cancel out of those attacks into her heavy cancel combo attacks. It should be noted as well for that last thing that you can only cancel light attacks into the new heavy attacks, not the other way around. You can stop your heavy attacks part way through into your light attacks, but she'll just reuse her usual light attacks, nothing new. Getting into the specifics of each weapon, starting with Virtuous Treaty, which is her default secondary weapon by the way, she'll always start matches with it. The ground combo starts with 2B swinging Treaty around herself with 2 wide spins, following up with a single spin in the other direction, then ends by swinging it again, but finishes the combo off by doing a flip to slam the longsword into the ground in front of herself. The longsword charge attack simply has 2B spin twice while moving forward, launching away anyone hit by the sword on contact. Then if you cancel the light combo, she'll dedicate herself to an automatic 4-hit attack, which involves alternating swings between Contract and Treaty, but ultimately ends with 2B smashing Treaty on the ground once again. Virtuous Treaty overall has amazing disjoint and awesome power, but it's quite slow, making it hard to land attacks. Now for Virtuous Dignity, its ground combo starts with 2B spinning it overhead, leading to a stabbing spear slice, followed by spinning it with her foot to continue its momentum, then swinging it to the right, then ends it all by pole vaulting off of the spear and spins to swing swing it to the left. The spear charge attack has 2B actually use the spear like a spear and do a long-range thrusting stab, and the canceled combo has her dash forward while spinning the spear like a vertical copter, then spins to swing contract forward. Virtuous Dignity has the same kind of range potential as Treaty, if not a little more, but it trades power for speed, so while it will be hitting more often, it won't be hitting as hard. Then lastly, for Virtuous Grief, its ground combo starts with 2B winding up, then doing 2 hard-hitting punches straight ahead. This is followed by 2B turning to do a backflip into an uppercut, then ends the combo by jumping into the air with a flip, then smashes the ground with a hammer punch. The charging brace attack, which is a little misleading because it can't actually charge, has 2B do what any good robot should do and fire her brace for a powerful rocket punch. 2B is now officially a cool robot. If you're a robot who can't rocket punch, you are a lame robot. Cool robots? Lame robots. Moving on! This rocket punch does not count as a projectile, and it boomerangs back to 2B after flying its set distance. Then for the brace's cancel combo, this has 2B swing contract forward, backs up with a flip, then immediately shoots another sick rocket punch, which recoils her back a little bit more. The backing up 2B does during this move can make it great for fake outs and spacing, however be wary that this version of the rocket punch does count as a projectile. Virtuous Grief, as you can probably guess, lacks a lot of range outside of those rocket punches, but they do make up for that with high speed and high power. Something else you probably noticed about all of the weapons, though, is how situational the ground combos kind of are, as they're not really great at comboing into themselves. Really, those moves are a lot better at crowd control, so they'd probably see a lot more use in free-for-alls than they would one-on-ones. Now finally, for 2B's up special, like I said prior, this is another that changes depending on her secondary weapon, having her use the rise attacks of each one. The Treaty Rise has her kinda pull a note from Link and rise while spinning her longsword. It has the widest horizontal range of the 3, but it is the slowest. The Dignity Rise has her do a spear uppercut, rising into the air while stabbing her spear up, giving it the best vertical reach, not to mention it goes the highest in general, making it the best for recovery. And the Grief Rise has her ascend with a proper Shoryuken, having the worst range and it doesn't go that high, but it has incredible power and KO potential, especially if you hit somebody with it at the very start of the attack. Like I said, a proper Shoryuken. So yeah, there's a lot to 2B, but unlike her game, I didn't exactly keep that a secret going in, guys. This moveset would definitely require some expert level play to bring out her full potential, and doing so would no doubt turn her into the executor that she was designed to be. I've decided to give 2B her special perfect dodge mechanic. If you dodge any attack at the last possible moment, you'll see illusions of herself while she dodges. During the animation of a successful perfect dodge, you can press either the attack button or the special button to have 2B retaliate out of her perfect dodge. Pressing the attack button has her swing her sword up to send the opponent into the air, then chase after them at blinding speed, allowing a start for counter combos. Pressing the special button, however, has her grab Pod and fire a blast from it at the aggressing opponent, aiming directly at them. Each option has their share of pros and cons. The attack version is great for starting combos and throwing your opponent off guard, but it's only useful if you dodge an opponent who's right next to you. It's kinda useless if they're far away. The special version, on the other hand, can hit from any angle or distance, and it is quite strong, but it is also kinda easy to see coming, usually giving the target just enough time to shield, dodge, or even reflect if they have that option. For 2B's Final Smash! She can have an automated Final Smash where she gains the permission to use one of YoRHa's most powerful weapons, the Flight Unit. Activating this Final Smash has a Flight Unit come to 2B. She enters it, then immediately starts flying back and forth across the stage at high speeds, firing bullet hell shots that deal chip damage to all opponents in range. As 2B zips around, every time she comes in contact with an opponent, she slashes at them with the flight unit's energy blade, dealing a ton of damage and launching them away. While 2B's flying is automatic, you are able to use the control stick to determine her altitude, moving her up and down like you can do for the Supersonic Final Smash. Do note though that she doesn't go nearly as fast as Supersonic, so it is slightly easier to aim. When the final smash ends, 2B suddenly drops down from the top of the screen and smashes down into the spot where she initiated the final smash with the energy blade, launching away anyone too close. And if the smash was activated in the air, she'll stop midair, but it'll still have the same effect as if she smashed to the ground. For 2B's colors, her default shows her in her usual Yorha regulated black dress. For her second player costume, she can have the colors of 2P, a Soul Calibur 6 color scheme that later became an official thing in Yorha Dark Apocalypse, with 2P fittingly meaning second player. Her next alt can make her outfit pink, coming from the pink ribbon accessory gifted to her by the missing little sister machine. And as such, the next can make 2B's outfit a light blue, referencing the blue ribbon accessory gifted by the big sister machine. And now, to totally throw you guys for a loop, for the next 4 costumes, you won't even be playing as 2B, but instead, her prototype predecessor turned successor, A2. A2 plays identically to 2B, with only very minor differences. They use the same weapons as well as the same pod thanks to story-related reasons. Heck, they even have the same idle animations. That's also the main reason why I'm choosing to make A2 a costume and not an Echo Fighter. There just aren't enough differences between the two battle bots to merit it. Not to mention, up to the game's release, a lot of people were tricked into thinking that A2 was 2B, so I mean, what more do you need? That said, A2 would have her own voice lines, and if there is one change I'm giving her, it's the final smash. Instead of using a flight unit, A2 would enter Berserk mode, though mechanically it is still the exact same final smash. And some of you Automata fans might have already noticed this while I explained the final smash, but it's pretty much a big reference to A2's boss fight, where she zips around the arena as well as when she smashes down from high up. In which case, getting back on track, the default A2 costume has her in her black attire. Her first alt shows her with a green outfit, in reference to the eyes of pacifist machines. Her second shows her in yellow, referencing the eyes of neutral or alert machines. And A2's last has her in a red outfit, referencing aggressive red-eyed machines, though this could also be a reference to Devila and Popola as well as the Red Girls. Also, something cool that can be done with the alts, if you select the android's head on the character select screen, it'll shift their attire a bit. Selecting 2B lets her take her blindfold on and off. See, I told you there were eyes under there. And selecting A2 makes her hair either long or short. For the stage intro, we can see 2B being dropped off by a flight unit, showing her land, exit the craft, then watch it fly off. And while we've never seen A2 use a flight unit, we can just assume that she's able to, so she will be using the stage intro as well. For the taunts, the first can show 2B or A2 petting Pod while it says a quote, something that both fembots do. Like I said, identical animations. One of the few differences between them is that A2 can actually use a taunting animation, something we never see from 2B. But for this moveset, both of them will be using this while they each say their own quote. And for the last, they can use the only actual taunt that 2B can use in Automata, having Pod spamming its flashlight, constantly turning it on and off. In NieR Automata, this as well as A2's taunt normally put enemies in a rage, but they won't do that here. I mean, unless the player you're facing gets mad at taunts, in that case it is still the same, so cool I guess. But finally, for their victory animations, the first can show them swinging Contract around in the air a few times, then teleports it back on their back while giving a stoic pose and Pod floating to their side. This is a reference to the light short sword sheathing animation. The second can show the android with their back to the screen, stabbing Treaty into the ground, then just looking over their shoulder to the camera. All the while, Pod looks at them, then at the camera itself. This is a reference to the heavy long sword sheathing animation, and the final can have the android walk in from stage right, then relaxingly lean back while a random stool of light appears under them to lean on, and Pod appears from behind their back and floating next to them. This is a reference to the funny little animation the androids will do whenever you go fishing. question, in NieR Automata, with the Earth in the state it's in, no longer rotating around the sun like 10,000 years from now, how are there fish, and moose, and birds, and literally anything else that isn't a robot? I'm no biologist or geologist for that matter, but shouldn't all that stuff be like, you know, dead? I'm not the only one thinking that, right? Right? And that does it for What If 2B was in Smash! So, if you enjoyed what you saw and would like to see even more characters be given possible Smash movesets, be sure to subscribe. And if you want to support the show, you can click the join button below the video, the one on my main page, or the link in the description to become a sponsor for my channel. Doing so can get you access to my Discord server, channel emotes, as well as the option to watch these episodes early, on top of so much more. And of course, if you have a character that you want to see be given a possible Smash moveset, leave a comment down below or contact me on Twitter at BrawlFan1 on Twit. I hope you all enjoyed, and thank you so much for watching!